Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi şrah li sadri ve yessir li emri vahlul ukdeten min lisani yefkahu kavli ve ceal li veziran min ehli Harun ahi yüşdül bihi ezri ve yeşriku fi emri key nusebbihake kethira ve nezkurake kethira inneke kunte bina basira. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. رب لا تذرني فردا وأنت خير الوارثين. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amin. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome. Inshallah, we will continue to study section Furqan, and we studied up to verse 68. And we have been studying the qualities of the believers, worshippers of Rahman, worshippers of the Merciful One. So there are many qualities mentioned, and we referred back to them last week, and I think we don't need to do this week again. So we will continue, inshallah, straight away. Let me see all written in the chat box. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Please, that they are here. Okay. Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون أنفسهم ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلحق أثاما. Our aim is to read the Quran to understand how it relates to our practical life. That is what we all know. We have been doing this. So we are not going to study the verses of the Quran related to fiqh rulings, jurisprudential matters, and explaining them. It's a great subject, but it needs very, very expertise. So I don't have it, and there are many people who have it, and they are studying them from that perspective. We concentrate on especially practical side of it as far as our relationship with our life, with our existence, with the existence of others, and also belief matters. How are we going to communicate with our, first, how are we communicate? How are we going to be sure about our belief in the hereafter, in God, in angels, and in prophethood, in revelation? And also, how are we going to behave in our moral, ethical world? So within this area, we concentrate on and read the verses from this perspective. It doesn't exclude the other perspectives. It doesn't exclude the grammatic or rhetorical quality of the Quran. But when they relate to our subject, then we emphasize on it. Otherwise, we don't pay attention to them. Now, this ayah is important, and there are quite interesting messages to us, especially teaching us how to read the Quran outside of the tradition, Muslim tradition. The community carries the tradition, this tradition of understanding the message of the Quran generation by generation. That is what we inherit from the tradition. And we will say something not really within the tradition, although doesn't contradict the tradition, doesn't exclude the tradition, but within the tradition. But what we cannot find within the tradition, we will discuss it. We are always discussing this side. So what is neglected in the tradition? Tradition means, in this sense, common knowledge, common understanding of the Quran by general public, but not by expertise. I don't mean tradition expertise. General public, general customary information. We have to pay attention to this so that we will know that sometimes we will refer to, as we are going to do it here, uh, that's what I wanted to refresh our minds, something that most probably Muslims grown up in their Muslim tradition may not have heard of. That is normal, not because it is not known by the scholars, but it is generally not known by general public. That is one thing. Another thing, what the tradition carries generation by generation in a customary way gives us the message, or brings the message from the earlier scholars. And the earlier scholars, of course, concentrated on answering or responding to the expectations of the people of their time, to the questions of the people of their time. We should never forget that. We should not disqualify them by not mentioning about what we mention here, but at the same time, we should respect them, but we should update the understanding of the Quran according to the requirements, necessities of our time, so that it will be a guidance. Quran will become a guidance for us now. Uh, God is guiding me guiding me according to the requirements and conditions of this age. That is what the framework of our study of the Quran. Bismillah, let's read the translation now. There are those who never invoke any other deity beside God, nor take a life which God has made sacred. Take a life which God has made sacred, except in the pursuit of justice, nor committing adultery. Whoever does any of this will face punishment for his sin, or shall meet the price. Punishment means equal judgment, paid back. Whatever requital, they call it, requital. Whatever I deserve, I get it. That is the punishment, what the Quran says. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ يَلْقَى أَثَامًا. So whatever the mistake, crime they committed, accordingly they will receive it, or they receive now, in this world or in the hereafter. Now, Let's go into a little bit deep. يدعون مع الله إلها. يدعو, invoke any other deity beside God. What does it mean? Of course, traditionally it is known those worship invoke those people in olden days, they invoke idols. But nowadays, the idol that human beings made by their own hands. So nowadays we see that people don't make idols and go and invoke them, saying that, please, God, give me a nice or very pure, loyal children, the child or children, boy, girl, whatever. No, no one does this. But instead, those people who don't acknowledge the creator of the universe, who is creating, who is expected to create what I need. Those people who see any other source than the creator of the universe to respond to their invocations, they are called here, those people never invoke any other deity beside God. For example, chance, accident, nature, or material means. Material means anything that we see here. He will support me. He will protect me, for example. Or insurance guarantees me, or state protects me, supports me when I am in need. Physically, they do in practical terms. But this is the arrangement of the creator of the universe. So, in fact, the understanding that the administrators should take care of their citizens, their subjects, this is the sense God provided human beings with. So if I want a child, I will go and do whatever needs to be done, advised by who advises me in this world, other God, the specialized doctors or nutritions, whatever. But their advice is different from what I am going to have. Medicine or other, for example, food that I will eat. These are all created by God. Human mind is created by God. Human compassion, the sense of help to others are created by God. So we have to know that the universe is arranged by the one who created the universe. That is called, the creator of the universe is called in the Quran God, Allah, in Arabic, in English, God. So any creator other than the creator of the universe is invoked. That is what the crime of the human beings will be, and they will be punished because of this wrong attribution of the qualities of the creator to something else. So these people don't make this mistake. The worshippers of the merciful one do not make this mistake. That is how it means if you want to be the worshipper of the merciful one, you shouldn't make this mistake. It means وَالَّذِينَ advise. They are those who never invoke any other deity beside God. They shouldn't. Advice, reminder. That is what expected from the people who would like to be the worshippers of the merciful one. Now, it is interesting. ولا يقتلون ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق. Now, nor take a life which God, here it is, nor take a life which God has made sacred, except in the pursuit of justice. Now I'll tell you this. What is the meaning of this verse? Let me see. If you have any comment, please let me know or just interrupt me. Just speak, even without raising your hand, if you like. Now, what we heard so far, they don't kill. It is that God nor take a life, we say kill, which God has made sacred, except in the pursuit of justice. There are many questions here I have. Now, my first question, what does God has made life mean? God has made life sacred. What does it mean? Life is sacred. Traditional understanding and nafs, for example, let me read the second one as well. What does a nafs mean? An individual, a person, anything, personal identity, essence, psyche. These are all possible meanings you can find for nafs and nafs. Here, take a life, but it is not used. Kill a being, it is maybe an individual, a person, anything. Personal identity, essence, psyche, spirit, mind, essence. Oh, now, it may include animals, plants, and even inanimate beings. And nafs. In the Quran, you say nafs means everything. Every individual being is a being, a nafs, individual nafs. Atom is a nafs. Now you can say a tree is a nafs, a person is a nafs, and nafs, and a fly is a nafs, a bird is a nafs. You can say it's an individual being, it means. So we understand it has a general meaning, but killing means, as the translation said, taking a life. But what is important here, God has made sacred. I will ask the question now. Apart from killing a person, which is sacred, that is what tradition carries us. That includes, definitely. But it's an extremely narrow way of understanding the message of the universal message of the Quran. God has made sacred. I will give you an example. Do you think a bird is a sacred being?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And, for example, plant, any plant.
Yes, that's also sacred.
Yeah. All right. An ant, yes. Answer is clear, isn't it? Ant also, an ant is sacred.
Yep.
Why are they sacred?
That's a good question.
Because they are the gift of the creator of the universe. He is the one who made it. It is sacred. Harram Allah. Harram Allahu. God created it, and we have to respect as his property. So your property is sacred for you. God's property is sacred for him. So you don't want your property to be infringed by somebody else, disturbed by somebody else. It is sacred for you. It is haram. So, for example, your body is sacred for you. No one can really come and insult it. Would you feel uncomfortable if someone touches you that you don't know this person? Would you feel not on purpose, not accidentally? You know, accidentally is forgivable, but on purpose touches your body and holds it. Would you feel uncomfortable?
Very uncomfortable.
Why?
I didn't give this person permission.
Now it is your sacred property. You don't want anybody to infringe in it. Right?
Yes.
Kaaba, you know Kaaba?
Yes.
Is it sacred?
Absolutely.
Why?
That's another good question.
Good question.
It represents the universe, does it not?
It represents the universe as to not be God, but property of God. Sacred. God's sacred property. That is why in Kaaba, no one can invoke anybody other than the Rabbul Kaaba, Lord of Kaaba, Rabbul Bayt. Qur'an says, Rabba hadel Bayt, referring primarily to Kaaba, but to many other things. When we study this verse, it's amazing. Rabba hadel Bayt, how are we going to treat this? So, yeah, this is sacred. So, no one can call anybody anything else other than the creator of the universe there. It represents that nothing in the universe has any independent existence, independent quality from its creator. It means it is the representative of the universe, as Anne said, beautiful description. And universe is sacred. It is his property. We should never transgress the right of the owner of this universe. So it says, don't kill anything which God has prohibited. Illa bilhaq. What does it mean? Except in the pursuit of truth, al-haq. But because this is the traditional understanding, they reduce this verse, this part of the verse, to killing people. And illa bilhaq, it's translated except in the pursuit of justice. For example, if someone kills with no reason, innocent people, this person, according to the rule of the Quran, must be killed, so that he will know what he has done, so other people will know if I am going to kill somebody, it means I am killing myself with no reason. For example, war conditions, you have to defend yourself. If someone tries to kill you, kill him. It is the war conditions, but this is battlefield regulations. That is exceptional. But this is not only for human beings. We can generalize it in the pursuit of justice in order to establish the justice. Now, how are we going to understand that? Illa bil haq. Haq that has the meaning justice, but it is a small part of the meaning of al haq. Big chunk of the part of the meaning of the truth, the reality. For example, if you want to use something, need something, and you ask for the permission of the owner of the things. It belongs to somebody else. The permission, you ask the permission of the owner of the property. And he says, yes, you can have it. So it is right to have this and use it because he allowed you to do that. Let's read it here. We should not never transgress the right of kill, make it meaningless, ownerless. Declare that tree has no owner, it is natural being. A human being has no owner, it is a natural grown animal. So, for example, a bird is happen to be like this. I can catch him and kill him. But if the owner says, you can have it, it becomes your right to have it. That's why we take the plant. For example, get the fruit of the tree, vegetables, maybe cut them if I need it. Because God says, if you need it, that is permissible for you to do it. Except, as in the story of Adam, one tree that I made forbidden for you. Otherwise, you can use these things in my name and with my permission. Everything must be treated in his name, owner's name. That is God's property. That is the creator of the universe's property. So I can use them because he gave me the permission. But when he doesn't give the permission, I cannot use them. For example, typical example, I cannot drink alcohol. I cannot eat pig's meat, but I can use pig for other reasons, but I cannot eat it. I cannot eat it. That's what God said, no, don't eat this. Don't drink alcohol. Otherwise, it is justifiable that I can utilize them. But none of the belongings of the God in the universe, all universe, can be utilized
Okay.
without the meaning of without the permission of the Creator. Yes? Somebody wanted to speak, or all right. I think it was a mistake. Yeah. That is why justice is accepted. That is why justice is established. When for example, God says, I created the vegetables for you. I created animals for you, for your nourishment. You can utilize them. So I can utilize them. But can I pick up a fruit from the tree and throw it away for no reason? Is it permissible? Is it permitted by the Creator? What do you think? I can do that. Can I do that? What do you think?
You can, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
shouldn't because you're wasting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wasting is prohibited. It is not illa bil haq, except for the reality, for the truth. Got it?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah. That is why, okay, I am the caliph. Some people may think it this way. God has appointed me as the vicegerent of God. I can treat everything as I want because the universe is created for me. Yes, universe is created for you to acknowledge its owner and to utilize it with his permission. If you don't acknowledge its owner, you are not the caliph, but you are just transgressing the right of the owner, uh, exploiting your status as a human being. So we have to understand this. لا يقتلون النفس إلا نفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق in the universal level. So in the universal scope. So we have to be very careful. Not only Kaaba is uh, harem. Harem it is called in English, harem. In Arabic, harem. Kaaba is sacred. Anything in the creation is sacred. We have to uh, respect them, and I have to utilize it. I can use it only with the permission of the Creator. That is the right way of behaving in this world. That's how we should understand this verse nowadays. Another interesting verse is coming. Well, the piece of the verse is coming. وَلَا يَزْنُوا, commit adultery. What is adultery? Now, of course, for example, raping a man, a woman, but usually women are raped. So, or by force or without the permission of the creator of the woman and with the consent of the woman, because the creator of woman or man doesn't matter, women or men, both. God said, I created you as an individual with a sacred understanding. It means you are my property. And I gave you certain senses. And in order to satisfy these senses, for example, for your nourishment, I created fruit or vegetable, anything to be eaten. for your satisfaction of your sexual desires, I am giving you the permission if only you can open your mahram, it means your sacred body, to another person within my permission. What does it mean, within my permission? Making a contract, making a commitment between yourself, both of them, saying that I am going to take care of the baby. You give, men speaking now, you give birth to, and you will take care of the baby to carry, and if you like, uh, feed feed the baby, look after the baby, if you like. That's not necessary, but it is the responsibility of the husband. So within these conditions, husband has to provide all the physical necessities, psychological necessities of women. Women also, not physical necessities, but psychological necessities of men. This is what God's arrangement is. Within this arrangement, you can share your sacred individual being with the opposite sex, opposite gender. That is what God arranged it. Anything apart from this, apart from God's arrangement, is performed, is called in the language of the Quran zina. Here's wala yaznun, they don't commit zina, adultery, or it is adultery here translated. They don't commit adultery. Now, this is what generally known by the Muslim or within the Muslim culture. That is absolutely true. But only what the meaning of the verse, can we say that the meaning of the verse can be restricted to these regulations of family life and human being relationship, or can we extend it to others? By definition, committing adultery means benefiting from the sacred being of a being, sacredness of a being, without permission from God and consent from the owner, or the one who gave, Allah gave it, God gave it to him. I'm not really expressing it nicely. If I transgress, for example, rape a person, it is a kind of adultery. If I transgress the right of other people without their permission, without the permission of the Creator, without their consent, it is also a kind of adultery. We can extend it this verse as well. So, of course, mainly it means committing adultery, but we can extend it if someone, for example, transgresses the rights of animals, rights of plants. It is again another form of adultery. We have to be careful about the transgressing the rights of other creatures. That's why we see that now the first rule was not, the verse is asking us not to invoke anything, any physical or imaginary thing beside God, apart from God, and never transgress the right of life of any being, which was prohibited or declared sacred, which is called harrama, declared sacred, God declared sacred. So we cannot really cut off, kill their sacredness. That's what we have to understand, that if you acknowledge God, you have to respect his property. And you can use it only in his name with his permission. And continues here, harrama, those people who know Arabic. I think there is a person among us who knows Arabic, but also it is commonly used in Muslim culture. Maybe in Urdu, in Turkish, it is used. Urdu also, harem. Kaaba is called harem, right? Human life is called harem. A man or woman's body is called mahrem. Mahrem. It is prohibited, made the sacred, belonging to this person. Let me see. I think, let me ask this question to Afshan. Afshan, are you here? Listening to us?
Yes.
No, thank you. So, you know that now you are a woman, so a girl, so I will say a boy. Any boy in the street, not related to you, is it harem to you?
Yes.
Look at the word, you know that the word, harem.
Yes, I know that word.
Yeah. And if you act in the name of God, a marriage contract, and commit to each other, is it any more harem?
No.
You see, harem, حرم الله ولا يقتل النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق. حرم is transferred in the following word, ولا يزنون. Do you understand the connection? If somebody lets somebody else get into his private life and has an adultery, this is called zina, isn't it? Without permission of God, without arrangement in the way that God describes. You have to make an act between yourself in the name of God, because God created my body mahrem to me, sacred to me. So I cannot open it without the owner's permission. Do you understand this sense of zina, adultery, committing adultery? Is it clear, or shall we talk about it a bit more?
It's clear.
No, I cannot let anybody get into my private life, private body, and commit adultery without the permission of the Creator. So that is called zina. So really, killing a person is in the Islamic fiqh rules equal to, now let me change the sentence now. Committing adultery is equal to killing a person. That is why if somebody in Islam, if somebody commits zina, especially by raping, it is a little bit disputed, but most of the Muslim scholars were convinced that this person must be killed. That is called tahjir, stoned. Have you heard of it? In Islamic rule.
I've heard of it,
Yeah. No,
but more regarding it from
That-
the female side, that the woman was stoned because she.
no, men as well.
Oh, okay.
Why women? No. No, no. Who can say that? Impossible. Impossible. But historically, it doesn't happen on the men's side because men just walks away. But women cannot walk away. She becomes pregnant and the child proves it. Do you understand? Practically, men also came to the prophet and asked the prophet to punish him by stoning because he committed zina. And the prophet, what did he do? He turned his face away. Why? I mean, don't make confession to human beings. If it is publicly done, what does it mean? If the action of adultery is seen by 4 people, it means what? The action itself is seen by 4 people. What does it mean? It is publicly performed. If it is secretly done, the Prophet advises not to confess it, ask Allah to forgive you and try to compensate it in another way. No, the Prophet showed he's not being really pro-punishing people. Rather, he's expecting that they should ask for forgiveness. If it is not, for example, if someone drinks in his house, no one can punish him. But if he drinks publicly in the street among the people and walks in the street drunken in a Muslim, Islamically administered place, then this person is punished. Of course, not by death, but limited punishment. But what we see there in the Islamic jurisprudence, in the rule, killing a man is punished by qisas. The word comes and goes. Oh, does anybody know what qisas in English? The qisas? That's very famous. You know that. Especially it is in the Torah rule. In fact. So Torah rule said, teeth for teeth, nose by nose. It is, the word doesn't come to my mind.
Retaliation.
Retaliation. Thank you very much. Retaliation. Yes, thank you, H. Retaliation. And also Afsha. Retaliation. Retaliation for killing a person in jurisprudence, of course. is death. Retaliation of zina is if it is publicly done. What is this? Stoning. Yeah.
Also death? Aren't you stoned to death?
Yeah. But there is a but here. There is a but here. This rule is not declared in the Quran, but practiced some caliphs. And also during the Prophet Muhammad والسلام's time, it happened once or twice. Because it is Torah rule. We should know the historical background of it. When Quran doesn't put its own ruling, God doesn't declare it. This is haram. This is prohibited. Or this must be in this way. Prophet used to practice Torah rules. Like, for example, let's wait for the questionnaire. It is a critical subject that we have to know, all of us. Inshallah, she will come back. I think she dropped. Okay. I think she's most probably is finding difficulties in her internet Wi-Fi. Let's see if she comes back or not. But that is the very crucial question, actually. Okay, we will talk about it. If she comes back, somebody will summarize it to her. Now, when there is no ruling, but this is a very sensitive subject, and we have to know this. Otherwise, we cannot really understand some of the rules, and we start criticizing them. Now, if there is no regulation, for example, there was no regulations about Qibla. What did Prophet do before the revelation came down? Then turn your face to Masjid Haram, Kaaba. What was the Prophet doing? Somebody please answer. Where he was? The prayer was there, but Kaaba rule wasn't there. The Qibla was Kaaba. Masjid Haram wasn't there. What was the Prophet doing?
I think he prayed towards Al-Aqsa.
Al-Aqsa, Masjid Al-Aqsa. Why? Why Masjid Al-Aqsa?
As you said, I assume it was due to a Torah reference.
Yes, Torah reference. Original Torah, original Torah is from God again. So he was following Jewish rule. When Masjid Haram, Kaaba, was asked to be accepted as Qibla, then it changed. Otherwise, the rule remained. That's one. Another example. What was the Prophet fasting before Ramadan? Fasting was prescribed. 10 days? An idea? You must have heard of it. Anyone, please?
I think fasting of Arafah.
No, this 10 days, after 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah, because the Jewish tradition was in this way, whatever. Jewish tradition, he was following Jewish tradition. When Ramadan, fasting during the month of Ramadan was revealed, he changed it. And he said it is still good to do that, but definitely Sawm or fasting is prescribed to be performed during the month of Ramadan. Now, when there was no revelation in the Quran about stoning. Now we have to be very careful. Use your mind carefully. Did Prophet practice stoning? Yes. Not as severe as Jewish rule, because he was only when it was self-confessed or publicly performed. There was no public performation. There was confession. Why there was self-confession? We have to understand the beauty of it. People, believers, were believing in the hereafter being so severe punishment. They wanted to be punished in this world by stoning better than being punished in the hereafter. They were so strong believers in the hereafter. So people came and confessed themselves, not by force. Themselves said, I committed adultery. A woman came to the prophet. A man came, as I told you, he turned away this way, he turned away this way. It means don't confess, don't confess, don't confess. Because you didn't do it publicly, so forget about it. Go and ask God to forgive you. But he insisted. And then prophet was really a bit disappointed, said, if you really insist, I will apply it. What shall I do? The man, as a result of his confession, his consent as well, he was stoned. A woman came. And women came, said that I committed adultery and I want to be stoned. The prophet said, go and give birth to the child. It means just go, go. And she gave a birth to the child. And she came back again and said, Ya Rasulallah, I want to be stoned, and I gave the birth to the child. The prophet, look at how reluctant the prophet was. He said, the child needs the mother to be fed, to be taken care of. And the Quran prescribed 2 years. So wait 2 years, the child will grow. Now, it doesn't mean wait 2 years and come back, huh? Don't run away. No, no, no. Go, go. And after that, she came back again. Then the prophet said, what shall I do? This person wants to be punished in this world rather than being punished in the hereafter. So there was no rule in the Quran, and this part of, are you here?
I'm sorry, I had to step out. I'm back.
I know. We waited for a while and
My apologies. I'm so sorry.
but I will ask a friend to summarize it, but it is better again, apart from this, to listen to this part. Let me see the
Yeah, I can if I can get the link. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks or so for the meeting to get up. If I can have the link after the meeting, I can get caught up right away.
okay, this is a practical matter. Let's stop here.
Ah,
This is Fariha's. Fariha, everything must be in the list, playlist. If you can have time and do it, and update it, anything. For example, after this class, what we do in Turkish, we do that. Let me see. Inshallah, it pops up immediately under live streaming or live. In English, maybe live streaming. Now, live streaming. Did you hear this? And
yes, I'm hearing. I didn't know that I could do that. So that's great. That's really helpful. Thank you,
yeah,
H. Beza.
but it is better even if it is not in the playlist immediately. Yeah, inshallah, Fariha is going to try to do that. It takes long time, I know that, but slowly, at least it must be in the homework list. Inshallah. So the time is, what's that? Wow. Something like after 45, right? Minutes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now, and Torah rules were practiced by the prophet. And, for example, alcohol prohibition declared, and killing unjustly declared, qisas declared in the Qur'an, and turning to Kaaba for Qibla while praying is declared, and fasting is declared in the Quran, declared. So they are established. But in the Quran, that is very, very, very important. Most of the fiqh scholars miss this point. That is why we have to be very careful, extremely careful. The Prophet died, and in the Quran, stoning is not declared. What does it mean?
That's so interesting. I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Those people who come from Muslim background, cultural background. The stoning is not in the Quran. Although Prophet practiced, for example, some companions of the Prophet were drinking alcohol. Later on, prohibited, stop. And the Prophet was turning to Masjid Aqsa in Jerusalem and declared, Kaaba is declared to be the place of Qibla, declared, and changed. But stoning is not prescribed in the Quran. What does it mean? It is not God's command. Do you understand? But there are other punishments declared, yes, not stoning. So we understand that stoning is not necessarily to be applied because God did not give ruling about it. So, although minority scholars accepted this idea, which I agree, let me see, what happened to the woman who turned after 2 years stoned? She gave consent. Herself she wanted, according to the Torah rule. So when the prophet had a problem with the Jewish tribe, he asked them, would you like me to apply the rule of the Quran to you, or would you like the Torah to be applied to you, Torah rule? They said, we are Jews, we want Torah rule. Okay, who is among you the Torah scholars? They say Abdullah bin Salam or somebody. I think Abdullah bin Salam. I don't know. I don't pay attention to names. So a Jewish scholar, and the Prophet said, okay, pass a judgment about this situation. There was an how do you say, break in the breaching the treaty between the Medini administration and this tribe, and the Jewish scholar rabbi said these people must be killed. Then the Prophet said, that's what you wanted. Because Prophet accepted Jewish rule unless otherwise declared in the Quran. That is what we have to understand. Now, Prophet applied mostly as a result of concession, not mostly. I don't remember any event as far as my memory tells me. No, somebody did commit zina publicly. At least 4 people saw it. If 3 people saw it, no, it is not stoned. 4. That's what Quran said. 4. So that is in the Quran, by the way, but not stoning. Not stoning. 4 people, they saw it. It means prohibiting, even in America. All of us here live in America. Do you think a man and woman will perform adultery, physical adultery, not suspicion, no. Physically seeing it, at least by 4 people or more? Have you seen any event doing this? Anything you heard? I haven't. Even in non-Muslim communities, they don't accept this. They don't accept this. So this is the Torah rule. But Torah rule is different. Stoning, and I don't know exactly the details in which conditions. But the Quran says at least 4 witnesses is necessary. For what? To declare zina. Not the punishment. Don't misunderstand. Not the stoning. To declare zina by young people, so that they will be slashed, 100 slash. If they are seen doing this by 4 people. These are, of course, there are some details in it. It is not our subject, but this is a sensitive subject that we have to understand. Prophet is asked to follow Torah rule in general. It is not in the Quran, by the way. But as a prophet, respected his brother Moses. Every prophets are brothers of each other. It means they received the same message from the same source. I know time is up, but this subject is hot and sensitive. We have to be clear about it and apply the rules in the Torah when Quran does not declare any rule abolishing it. When it abolished by the Quran, then the Quranic rule comes. But Torah rule is not abolished, and stoning is not commanded by God. For example, Prophet applied 10 days fasting. This is called Ashura. 10 days fasting, as Torah said. And what happened? Qur'an came and declared Ramadan. Ramadan became fard now. I mean, necessary to fast. But 10-day fasting wasn't necessary. It was sunnah, prophetic sunnah. We should not forget that. Now, when turning to Kaaba was declared, then turning to Masjid Al-Aqsa was abolished, finished. But the command came from God, turn to Kaaba. When the subject comes to adultery, there is no command came. And Qur'an is the abolisher of Torah rule. Now, after the completion of the Qur'an, after the death of the Prophet, Torah rules are not applied, not to be applied in Muslim communities. Do you understand this sensitive subject? So, stoning is not declared, and the Torah rules are completely out of subject now. Only complete Quran. When the Quran was not completed, prophet, how do you say, as a preference, rather than having no rule at all, he was practicing Torah rule. Rather than having no rule, it means without rule. He was practicing Torah rule. When Quran is complete, Torah rule are abolished completely, all of them. Whatever Quran said, it remained. Now, majority of people say, but Prophet practiced, we should keep practicing as well. For some time in Caliphate, for Caliphate period, Umar practiced that. Caliph Umar practiced this, and later on didn't. That practice stopped. But some people still say the rule is there. But some careful Muslim scholars say, no, it is not ordered by God, and Torah rules are abolished completely. We have nothing to do with Torah rules anymore. Whatever Quran says, whatever you find in the Quran, that is for you. Whatever you don't find in the Quran, that's not. But some people really want to be harsh to other people, and they still say, some people say, nowadays I don't know who says, but some people say stoning is valid, but there is no Islamic administration that will apply it. So that is out of question. My personal conviction is, yes, Quran declared if adultery is confessed, self-confessed, or publicly done, at least 4 people saw it, then 4 slash or lashing, yes, 100 lashing. There are rules there, lashing, not stoning. That is what the Quran stated to us. So I am convinced that stoning is not confirmed by the Quran, and it is not an Islamic rule. There are quite a number of respectful scholars agree on it, and I say, yeah, that must be correct. That's my personal preference. If you hear some people insisting that in Islam there is stoning, but there is no administration who will apply it, that is one option, but not supported, not confirmed by the Quran. And also, practice of Prophet is misunderstood. Practice of Prophet, for example, sometime Prophet turned to Kaaba, Masjid Aqsa. So, are we going to say that it is Sunnah to turn to Masjid Aqsa? No, there is a rule. But in stoning, there is no rule. And Torah is abolished. So Torah is not valid anymore because Quran is complete. Before, Quran wasn't complete. That is why Prophet, rather than lawless society, he preferred to apply Torah laws. That's what logically to me is consistent. I don't know whether it makes sense to you. Otherwise, we should stop. Not otherwise. Yeah. If you don't have any further questions, any further concerns, we can talk about this kind of problematic matters. No. Okay, let's stop here. So this is a hot subject. So inshallah, we understood this killing, somehow committing adultery. But adultery not necessarily to be killed according to the Quran, but it is seen by scholars as severe as killing a person, killing the honor of a person. That is why we have to understand that these are very related subjects. That's what the Quran says. So don't take a life which God has made sacred except in the pursuit of justice, means truth. That is haq, includes the meaning of justice. I'm summarizing it, but the main meaning is the truth, the reality, haq, reality. Nor commit suicide, commit adultery. So it is close to it, but in another subject. So we have to be very careful by committing adultery because it is very, very similar to killing the person, men or women. But usually men doesn't care. The men don't care because he has no responsibility. Done and go walk away. Women is usually was the subject, but men was the subject as well. But mostly when we talk about this committing adultery, and women comes to my mind, but women comes to mind, but equal. As far as the rulings are concerned, equal. Men and women are responsible not to commit adultery, but also we have to understand killing a person means not necessarily only human being. Committing adultery doesn't necessarily mean only human being between men and women. So anything prohibited and declared sacred, we have to respect it. That is the conclusion of our discussion today. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Sorry about very delay, but the subject was delicate and important. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi hurmati